This here's a look at the cattle run, and where I'm standing now is where I'll normally park my trailer, my cattle trailer. And it's kind of like a loading chute. And what had happened is there was a couple of trees here, one here, and then the other one here. They died. It's actually a good thing because they were pushing on the boards, you know, what was left of the boards. But they were pushing on those and making my cattle run more narrow than it needs to be. So my plan now, a lot of these posts, like this one here, is rotten. There's a couple others that are rotten. My plan is to take all this out, take these gates. This gate here is going to come out. Same thing on the other one on the other side. And when the tree fell here, there was actually a post that was in the ground similar to that one, and it broke off at the base. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out a little bit further, maybe about right here, on either side with metal posts, and go back a ways and kind of rebuild some of this. Now some of these posts are okay. See if this one's any good. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, it probably won't even pull out of the ground as loose as that one is. This one broken. This one's firm, so I may leave that one in place. I'll just have to see how it goes. I'm back out here at the cattle loading chute, and I have taken out those two trees that were there along with the other fencing material and kind of set some of it up against the fences. I've got it laying up against that fence there. So I pulled out the fence posts, like the wooden ones that were like that, pulled them out there. So I got all this cleaned out, and now here on the ground I've measured out where I'm going to put some, that's 2 7/8 inch pipe, and I'm going to put one there and there in concrete, and then back over here, this will be the entrance. I'm going to use this existing hole, probably drill it out a little bit more, put one there, and then use this existing hole and put another post there. The post that was in the ground here broke, so I'm going to hope that my auger 3-point driller can get in there and get that drilled out anyways. Hopefully that wood that's stuck in there is just all rotten and it'll break up really easy, but this is what it's looking like. Here's a look at the cattle chute itself. I have plans to buy some more 2x6 treated boards and replace ones like this one here and here and going on down. I determined that I need 10 2x6x12s. This is a 12-foot long stretch. I'm going to pull this panel out because it's already making the chute tighter on the cows than it needs to be. So once I get that out and get those boards replaced, that'll be real nice. Got some good wood. This isn't too bad. That one right there is pretty new. I put that in myself there. And then some of these others have just been replaced by my grandfather. But we're trying to get this all fixed up and in good operation again. But this section here is going to be all metal. I prefer metal, just so that the likelihood that I'll have to come back and deal with this in the future will be almost zero, since the metal seems to last quite a lot longer than these wooden posts. the 2 holes and got the auger set up over the one of the holes. See how this goes. It's a cool morning here in February. I've got 2 posts that are going to be my main. This is where my trailer is going to back up to, right there. I have a horizontal span across the 2 there, and I'm 6'7", so I want to make sure that it's over my head. I don't want to be bumping my head when I'm walking through here, so I'll probably put it at 7. But then even at 7, I'm still going to be kind of ducking down, so I'll probably put it probably 7.5 feet high. And then posts back here, getting started to put in concrete. Supposed to get some rainy drizzle today. Not supposed to be anything heavy, so I think that'll be okay. I wanted to get this in the ground before the hole started collapsing if we did get a good amount of rain. So these 3 posts are going to go in the ground, and this will be the cattle run. It's 14 foot long. They'll go into the trailer there at the end. That's the DeWalt chop saw that I use to cut the pipe. It does a pretty good job. And those 2 buckets, I got some water from a nearby pond that we have over here. So I'm just using old dirty pond water, which will be just fine for this. Alright, it's the end of another day, and I've got the horizontal brace welded on, and that really seemed to stiffen everything up pretty well. And then I've got the mains of my main chute welded on. So I'm thinking I'm going to do a sucker rod, oil-filled sucker rod. I have a good bit of that on hand, so I'm going to put that here in the sides, and then I still have this piece here. I still have this gap here to fill in, and I'm going to do the same design with a pipe on top going across here on top, and then one at the bottom, and then sucker rod. And then to join between this pipe and that wood post, I'm going to do wood right there just because it's going to be easier for me to tie into that wood post. So getting closer, probably another day or two, and then I'll be wrapping this up. End of another day, and I've got my vertical supports in place, and then my horizontals there and there. And what these vertical supports are going to allow me to do is I've got these clips for my drill stem, and they're going to weld here, and then the drill stem is going to fit through where my finger is. And I wanted to have several points of contact so I can have another bracket here, down there, and then down there, and that'll give those drill stems, because I think they're 3/4 of an inch, so that'll give them some stability. If I had just the long span without any braces, I'm afraid that they would move too much. This also allows me, if I've got cows coming in, and say they come in right here at the trailer where I'll have my trailer backed up right up against here, if they refuse, I could put a bar behind them here, or put a bar behind them here, and here's where I keep my little bars to go behind them, and just it would go up like that between the between the sucker rods, and then I could do the same down there at the end. So I've got several points now that I could stop the cows from refusing. So it's coming along. The next step is my drill stems / sucker rods, whatever you want to call them. I haven't decided if I want to do 5 of them, 4, 6. I'm going to do a little math when I get inside and determine the spacing. And then for this gap here is just going to be wood coming out. And the reason being is because eventually I'm going to replace this board, or this post. Eventually I'm going to replace all this, and I think it'd be easier to just unscrew wood here, and then put in a metal post, and then I'd have the wood out, and I could put in new piping. But for now, just wood here, and we'll get this situated. So it's coming along. Alright, the welding part is done on this cattle loading chute. Got it all put together, and I had enough clips on hand to put clips down through here, but I thought with the way they stick out just a little bit, they might catch on me as I'm walking through here, or the cows. I thought maybe I would hold off. I did weld this with 6011 sucker rod, and then on these that I did put clips on, I came back with 7018 sucker rod and put a little bit more weld on because I've had issues in the past with sucker rod not holding. I think it has something to do with the hot and cold cycle of the seasons, and it causes the welds to crack. But I have read that 7018 is a good weld, a good welding rod to use to prevent that. So that's done. And I had previously talked about doing wood from here, but I looked at the prices of wood, and as you all know, lumber is extremely high right now, and since I'm using all this metal that I had on hand, I had enough to do this part, so I went ahead and did that. I am still going to buy some lumber because my next task is to get this big panel out of here, and I want to replace this board, that board, that board, the very bottom, couple of the bottoms. I need about 10 boards. I'm going to do a little bit of work here. I'm not going to redo this part here just yet, but this will probably definitely be a future project to get this all straightened up. But I'm doing it a little bit piece at a time. The main priority was my cattle loading chute. It was as rickety as that looks, the old chute, as you could probably see in some of the clips I might be able to paste in here. Just close it down when we get in there. Close it down behind it. Good job. The old chute was had those two trees right here, and it caused the chute over time to be too narrow, and the cows could just barely squeeze through here. But now this is 28 inches wide from rod to rod, which is I think recommendation was 26 inches wide, between 26 and 30 inches. So I'm right there in the middle where I need to be, and I can get my big bull through here if I ever need to, or whatever I need to load. The height of the top rail is 67 inches high, so I don't see any cows ever going to be able to jump over this, so should be good for a long time to come.